everyone, welcome to A Chandler's Channel. I'm Tracy, your host, and today's session is our weekly reading for October 7th to 13th, 2013. So if that's what you're here for, please stay tuned. I'll go get Whitehawk and consciously channel him in just a moment. But as always, I like to touch back on the previous week to see how it went and to see what congruencies or non-congruencies there were. All right, so last week, and just listening, and I feel naked because I don't have my crystal. I'm so used to playing with something, right? Anyways, so last week, Whitehawk, I felt the reading was more of a healing and a teaching than it was about insight in the week, and so perhaps that was needed. I know it was needed in my life to help move me forward. So I hope that it was helpful for you in helping you move forward in your life. And mainly, he touched back on tragedies and atrocities that happen in life and how, they are devastating, there's no doubt, but through them and in them and out of them will come blessings. And so I guess the way I can share with you is that it was a difficult week last week because I went to the wake of my dear friend Dave Woodard, who had died tragically in a bus and train accident. So I went to the wake, and then the next day was the funeral, and I have never been through anything like this in my life. I had to wait in line for an hour and a half, which was deemed a private wake for friends and family. And it was an hour and a half to get through the line just to pay your respects quickly as you went through a lineup of the family. So, the blessing is that you got to see many people you hadn't seen in years and make those reconnections and make new connections with people that, there were 2 degrees of separation with, because there was Dave to connect the two of you together. And then that night I got to be with my friends that I went to high school with, and we all went out and had a drink, celebrating Dave. So that was the blessing in that. And then the funeral again, seeing some people that I hadn't seen in a while, and just the amount of people that came out. There was 1,500 people at the funeral, and there was what do you call that? A police-led procession. As they left the church, and I believe when they came to church. Sadly, I didn't get to see that because we were ushered into the church to take our seats. Big church, right? 1,500 people that they can sit. So, although there was sadness, there was good stuff that came out of it as well. There was a time too where it was so funny. So they had police directing the traffic, and so as I came out of there, the policeman just looked at me, and so we all wore green because that was Dave's favorite color, and so his wife wanted us to wear green, so we wore green. So it was kind of easy to know, if we were with the funeral. And so as I pulled out of the church, it was just an exchange of energy, and this is where I say energy never lies, right? It's all it was. The police officer gave me a look of my condolences, and that meant so much to me, right? Because I don't really feel like anybody. It's so funny. Personally, I didn't get that from people, but it's so funny. My YouTube viewers, God bless you. I got that from you. I got that from Twitter followers, and here a stranger, right? A police officer. So that was a blessing, and you can just read the energy, how they felt bad for you, right? Okay, so that's what that was, and there was a silver lining, at the end of the week, or in the middle of the week, I did win tickets to go see an author speak on a new book he had put out called The Slow Fix, and I had read his previous book called in praise of slow, about slowing down in life, about finding the good in life, and just getting back to natural and goodness, right? And his name was Carl Honore. And so I was able to go listen to his talk, which was very informative and witty. And knowing that I was sitting in the audience with like-minded individuals, right? Feeling that life can just spin out of control, and we miss the important things in life, and getting our kids to extracurricular activities, to making sure that the best always, you kind of miss life. So that was the silver lining. That was a really nice part of the week. So that's how my week went. And I do apologize, I don't want to sound down. I just had to touch back again on Dave. And of course, when I touch back on Dave, I can't help but get a little sad. But moving forward, here's what I want to say about this upcoming week. I just noticed. So October 7th to 13th. Love it. October 7th, like the sacred number 7, and then 13, the number of transformation. Those are two numbers in my life that are very sacred to me and mean a lot. So to me, I believe in my life, this is going to be a magical week. So I can't wait. But let's go see what Whitehawk has to say about the week ahead. And we're not here, like you can go to many umpteen channels and get an angel card reading, get a tarot card reading, get an oracle card reading, and they may always give you positive information. Whitehawk and I are very different, right? We're here to teach you about energy. We're here to teach you how to heal. We're here to teach you many teachings. There's premonition in there as well, and we may give you insight. So you never know what you're going to get when you come here. But I can tell you that Whitehawk is constantly teaching me, and therefore always teaching you. So I will speak about a comment I did get on October 2013 monthly reading. Keeping in mind, like I could have just easily shut down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks until I was able to get up and be happy and put on that happy mask that life's always supposed to be great and light and wonderful, right? You know those people, right, with that happy mask, right? The Poly Perfects. But I didn't, right? I made the choice to come to you in my grief, in my time of grief, and to share with you that. And then also you could see in my body how grief would affect me. So in effect, it was a teaching, right? And to teach you about how energy does indeed. You can see people's energy. You could see my energy on that day was down, and I'm grieving it, and there's still a little bit there now, and so that's how energy is. It doesn't lie. And so these are always teachings. So I apologize if they're not always going to be up and life is great, because it's not always great. Bad things do happen, but we're here to teach you how to move forward from it and how to get through it, because death is a natural part of life. It really is. So I apologize if you think I've been a Debbie Downer or a negative Nancy, but it's all in the teaching and in the healing. Okay, so let's go get Whitehawk and let's go see what he has to say for the week. He goes, indeed, negative Nancy, Debbie Downer. He's laughing at these terms because it's nothing he's ever heard of before. These are negative, just nasty terms, he says. Poly perfect. He goes, oh my goodness. Just nasty, nasty, he says. But I understand in your culture, in society today, these are terms that perhaps people can reflect upon, he says, can understand and deal with and move forward with them, he says. So it's like bowing to me. He's like, amen to that. He says, but mainly what I want to teach you and talk to you about here today is this one, meaning me, Tracy, and her reflection back on about how, she chose to come to you in her time of grief and to put her face on a video and to speak with you. Because she knew, well, he says, because she loved you, because she knew that there was something here she could teach you. So she looked past everything and worked feverishly, for it was indeed difficult, he says, for this one to put her best face forward on that day, to even get dressed, to even do her hair, to do her makeup, he says, to even come here and channel to you. But she did it. And I need to tell you that, he says, because many of people wouldn't. And it's not to say, he says, somehow she's better, for she's not. It's just to say she took a different approach. And it's not to say that perhaps in the future something may happen that she may not be able to come to you in her moment of grief or time of grief. But I needed to say, he says, my 2 cents on that as well, he says. So he bows to me, he says, I commend her for that. And in that, while he was saying that, I could feel the sadness. He says, so thank you, Tracy, very much for showing your true colors on those days. He's like, God bless you. And I'm like, thank you. He says, now, and he stands up, and he's getting very powerful, because I don't know if I've explained to you before, he's 6'1", and he's got his big First Nations, which is Native American Indian to many others, but in Canada we refer to them as First Nations. His big headdress, with feathers on, and he stands up, and he's in, well, I can only sort of see his top part, and he's in white, and he says, now, for the rest of you, let this be a lesson to you, he says, to not judge others based upon where they are coming from at the time. He says, this is where you get to be a beacon of light for others, instead of stomping on them like they are a piece of dirt, because perhaps they are going through a most difficult time in their life. So let that be a lesson to you. To sometimes life isn't perfect, and sometimes those people who are going through difficult times indeed do need your confidence, do need your help, and more than ever, do need your smiles. So again, he says, let me reiterate to you, do not kick somebody when they are down. Do not. For you are not helping them to get up. You are not shining a light by stepping on them, by stomping on them, by kicking them when they are down. You are not shining a light when you do this. And a lot of us are contemplating his words. A lot of us feel kind of bad because we've probably done that in the past. And a lot of us are just feeling really down and crappy about ourselves right now. It says, yes, children, take a moment of reflection. Take a moment of thinking of how perhaps maybe when someone needed you, really needed you, not in a moment of a lineup at a funeral wake where you could hug them and walk away, he says, but no, maybe during a day when they're having a really hard time, where you could have just hugged them and helped them up, instead of saying something like, Jesus Christ, you're always down, can't you just get the hell up? I'm sick of this attitude. Can you not just be an up person instead of so negative all the time? He says, nice words, huh? He says perhaps instead that person needed some kind words such as a hug and something like, hey, I know you're going through a bad time, it's a rough patch, and I just want you to know I'm here for you. And when you come out of this, I'll be here for you too. But for now, I'll ride the tides with you. He says, do you see how that might help someone's inner light to help them get up? Whereas the previous one would only keep them down that much longer. So you did nothing to help them to get up. The so-called kick in the butt did not work so well, did it, he says. Try a little tenderness. Try a little tenderness. He says, let me repeat that again. Try a little tenderness. Amen, my friends, he says. There will be not much change from this week to last week, he says, but you have a plethora of healings and teachings at your beck and call. He says, if you would just take a time out to watch them and listen to them, to know that indeed you will get through them, and that we, Tracy and Whitehawk, are here for you, always. And although we may not tell you exactly how your week may fall out, there's always something interesting here for you to learn. Be blessed, he says, with this newfound knowledge. God bless. And off he rides on his horse again, and then his whole hi-ho silver thing. Well, there you go, another interesting reading for us. I think we got our hands slapped there, huh? That hurt. Kind of stings a little bit. Anyways, something we can definitely learn from, and I think we can catch ourselves when we're going to get impatient with someone or angry at someone. I think we need to remember that song, you know, try a little tenderness. I won't sing it for you, but Google it, and then you can YouTube it, and you'll get it. Okay, so that was the weekly reading. The upcoming intuitive log with Whitehawk's Wisdom on Thursday will be on dreams, because I have an interesting dream to share with you about Dave's tragic death. So we'll teach you how they come to you, well, how they can come to you. Indeed, the teaching is based on how they come to me, and perhaps then you can use it and understand yours a little bit better. All right, try a little tenderness this week, my friends, and we'll see you very soon. Subscribe, it's free. Like, comment, be kind, and keep it clean. And share, because you never know who we're helping. All right, I'm Tracy. Oh, I almost forgot something. Thanksgiving in Canada. I can't believe I did that. It's Thanksgiving in Canada this upcoming weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian viewers. And that's on Monday. So if my weekly reading is late on the Tuesday, it's because, you know, I have like a house full of people home on the Monday. So it's kind of hard for me to do my videos. So that might be up on Tuesday. So I'll see you then. So wish all the Canucks that you know happy Thanksgiving. God bless. I'm Tracy for Chandler's Channel.